Coming back the other way. Ifatu Melifonwu. This is going to be over. Lions are going to win it. Lions are bringing the NFC North title back to Detroit.
All right, what's happening, everybody? It is Friday night, off the cuff, Rocked On Detroit Lions podcast, man. Let's have some fun tonight. Remember, tonight is mostly about you. Fan interaction show. Channels all about you. That's what it's all about. We're all fans. I'm a fan. And I love it when I feel included. So that's why we do this, is for the fans of the Detroit Lions. And before I go much further, we've got another fan and a sponsor, sportspider.com. Please check them out. Sportspider, sportspyder.com. Check them out today. Get all your sports in one place. I promise you guys, if you haven't already, check it out. You'll love it. You can get everything on one page, create your free profile, and get all your news each and every day from one source. I saw the thing in there in the chat already about Brandon Ayuk. I plan on touching on that for just a moment here in a few. And you are right. We are only about 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. Just released a ridiculous video about giving away some jerseys because this is a litigation world we live in. And YouTube has crazy policies about giveaways and raffles and all sorts of weird stuff. So I've got to make sure that it's at least free to enter, and we can do what we want to go from there, or do what we want to do from there. So shout out to Kobe with the 3 coffees tonight already. Huge thanks, man. Your entries have been added, and I want to make sure that I'm clear. Like, it's 1,000% free to enter the drawing. You don't have to do anything. You just by showing up, you're entered. If you want more chances, there's additional ways that you guys can enter to win these jerseys. But the way that the jerseys will be delivered is going to be gift card. I find it the easiest way to do it is just to send you a gift card through email. That way I don't need your address. I don't need to worry about shipping. I don't have to do any of that. I can just send you a gift card. You guys can order your own thing, your own way. And you can deal with the returns if something was wrong, right? So, all right. Yes, 100% free. But if you want to get additional entries for jersey number 2, that's right. We're doing 2 jerseys. You can purchase coffees, donate through Super Chat. All of that money goes into a pool to do giveaways. I've got a whole host of stuff to continue to give away this season, and we're going to keep ramping it up. And giving out more gift bags. So like the other day, I gave away 2 $25 gift cards as a bonus. Like, they didn't even know they were getting that. And one individual acted like they were upset that they got a free gift card, not realizing that that was just a bonus. So kind of sets you back a little bit. Like, why even do it? Like, if people don't respect it, then why even do it? But I won't let one bad apple kind of ruin it for the rest of everybody else. I don't know of any other channels out here that are giving away free stuff just because that's what we do. We give out free stuff just because you guys are awesome. And that's why we do it. So, all right, first topic on the list is the chat. Let's welcome everybody in. We've got Tracy in the house. Is that still you? I hope so. At least today it is. Mile Marker 301. We got Steve K, Lone Wolf, Bob W, and Ornery U of M Dad. I like that one. Evan Smoke, Adam. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into Rock Down Detroit Lions. Let me get a couple of things set up here, and then we'll get rolling. We got a light night tonight, it looks like. Real light. It's warm weather outside. Everyone's out doing stuff. So we might not have a long show. If we don't have a lot of interaction or people wanting to call in, we'll probably just have a light show tonight. So anyway, let's start with my real first topic. The thing that kind of hit the airwaves today was a couple of signings, and one that affects Penei Sewell. So Penei Sewell, obviously he's contracted. His contract's going to get even more expensive now that he threw the first pitch out at Tiger Stadium. That's supposed to be a joke. But Penei is signed through 2024 with a 5th-year option available. There's been no news that I know of if his 5th-year option's been picked up yet. And not only that, but it's clearly a no-brainer that he's going to get re-signed. He's going to get extended. And the question was always, how massive of a deal is it going to be? Because he's in a unique situation. And I brought this up a couple of months ago, at least, when talking about extensions, or right when the season ended, we started talking about the players who's coming back and who's, going to be due for some extensions. And immediately, Penei Sewell was one of the first guys that I'm like, well, clearly he's got to be one of the first right after Jared Goff, because you're not going to let him make it to free agency. There's no way. You're not going to take a chance on even allowing him to get close and allow his agent to push him, out the door. Welcome in, Jeffrey Cunningham. Nice. That's a new name, man. Welcome in. Welcome to Rock Down Detroit Lions. Thank you for being part of the group tonight. So anyway, Laramie Tunsil is where I wanted to start with, because Penei is a right tackle, right? He was a left tackle in college, right tackle, for the Detroit Lions. Clearly can play left tackle. We've seen him. We've seen him do it. We know we can do it, and we can do it at a high level. So how do you pay him? Because he is so good at both. And that's been the major question is, what's going on here with Bulge Army stuff, Donovan? Come on, dude. I don't know what that is. But let's not. So anyway, Penei Sewell. So Laramie Tunsil signed a 3-year, $75 million deal with $50 million guaranteed. In my opinion, is super smart for players to sign 3-year deals. And the exact reason is this: they push that AAV higher. It's not smart for our team, right? I mean, because you're going to pay more, but it's smart for the player to do this. They push the AAV higher, and then they have a second opportunity to cash in on another payday, in just 3 short seasons. As where some of these guys, especially in Sewell's situation, I can see the Lions wanting to sign him to a 5-year deal. He's so young. And it would make sense to sign him to a long-term deal because he's so young. But on the player side and on the agent side, they're probably thinking, wait a second, you're going to sign me at today's rate, and in 3 seasons, I could be making 10 more, mil a year, potentially. So Laramie Tunsil, $50 million guaranteed, $75 million deal, $60 million in total guarantees that he can earn. So that kind of, reset the floor. So that's $25 million per year, but he's a left tackle. And when I looked at the contract, Derek and I spoke about it in one show, and I said, it's going to be 22 million, no less, no more. Probably 22 million is where he's going to end up. And I would totally was on track with that until what happened today. I don't know why my chat's all behind here, but give me just a second and I'll come back to you. Rod Woods Bulge. I'll come right back to you. So Penei, I can't pronounce this guy's name. Mailata, I think is his name. So the Eagles left tackle Mailata agreed to a 3-year deal, another smart move, $66 million contract extension, $48 million guaranteed. And according to Adam Schefter, it's loaded with a $20 million signing bonus. So that $22 million per year average, that's exactly where I saw Penei Sewell. So this is a perfect contract to start weighing what Penei Sewell's going to get. But here's the problem. He's 27. So he's, 4 or 5 years older than Sewell, 4 years older than Sewell, I think. So he's 27, never made a Pro Bowl, never made and never selected to an all-pro team in all 4 of his seasons. So when I speculated on Sewell's deal, I expected that number, to be north of 22 or right around 22. And now it's going to go up even more because these contracts aren't even comparable. So while Tunsil's, currently, has kind of reset the market, his contract reset the market, there's certainly really no question that when it's time to negotiate with Penei, he might be in line for a $30 million deal, which is insanity. So the Lions got a lot of big contracts in front of them. And that might be some of the reason why you see, Brad a little hesitant, in signing, other big name free agents, longer term contracts, even with Carlton Davis, not, getting him on an extension, even though he was ready for one. I think that's what you're seeing right now is they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay everybody pretty much at the same time. And then that's what happens when you have good players. You got to pay them. You got to pay them to keep them. Now, here's the other thing. He could certainly go into year 5 with a franchise tag. And the franchise tag, I believe, is going to be in that 23, 24 mil per year neighborhood. And that may be okay with Brad because that might get them through another season that then they can negotiate, have more money, in the kitty, so to speak, to get a deal done. All right, let me wind it back here. Rod Woods Bulge, super chat $4.99. He says the Bulge Army brings love and support, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't know what all those messages were. It just kept on saying bulge, 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 bulge. I didn't get it. I don't know what this whole bulge thing is. Quite honestly, I don't really do a ton on Twitter. I just started using it. And today there was a bunch of random stuff flying all over the place about the Bulge Army and how many people are in the Bulge Army. So explain it to me. Like, how did it start? Is it because, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell got big cojones and, their bulge is on display every single season? It's kind of funny. It's hilarious, actually. Anthony Rock. We got a Rock in the house. Look at that. Welcome in, man. Are we related? I wonder if we're related. Probably not. You got a lot of messages in here. So super shout out to Rod Woods Bulge. Here you go, man. Let me get you some Dan Miller.
One final time, Jared. One final time. Moves in behind center. Takes the snap. Takes the knee. This game is over.
And just so you know, I'm going to put your name in here as Rod Woods Bulge. So I got my spreadsheet going here. When you guys donate through Super Chat or Buy Me a Coffee, you get entered into the second jersey giveaway. You just earn additional entries. It's free to get in, but you're earning additional entries. So when I randomize it, your name will be in there, extra times, to get an opportunity. It's all randomized. So bear with me while I add you in here. All right. So Evan Smoke, Penei Sewell must be paid left tackle money. He only switched to right tackle because we have Decker. It's a good point. And here's the other point. I think that, if I was his agent, this is what I would be saying. So he's a right tackle now. What happens when Decker leaves? To your point, Evan, this is something that I brought up before too, because I thought, okay, you sign him now and you get him on a good deal at a right tackle rate. Then what? Is he going to want to move to left tackle? Is he going to be forced to move to left tackle? I don't know the hierarchy there. Like, does the player have to agree to play that position? Or when you're under contract and they can put you wherever they want. Play running back if I want you to play running back. I don't know the dynamic inside the contract of what they are, allowed to do or not do, or if they have to agree to play a position or not agree. I don't know that answer. That's a question that I want to get answered from somebody, somewhere, somehow. So to your point, yeah, the dude can play both sides, and he can play both sides well, and that's why I feel he's definitely going to get left tackle money, and he's going to reset the market big time. Like, it's not even going to be close. I had him pegged at 22 million. Right now, I think we're talking 30. I think we're definitely talking 30 for Penei Sewell. And that's if it gets done next year. If it gets done this year, we might escape, somewhere between 26 and 28. Kind of like Amon-Ra St. Brown money. Let's see here. What else we got in here? Donovan Amos, super chat, $1.99, says the Bulge is reporting. All right. Donovan, don't you have one of those accounts too? I thought you changed your name to something Bulge. Is that still you? A friendly raid? Oh, it's all good. I just didn't know what it was. It's all good. We got Ornery U of M Dad. He's donating $4 too. He wants to get in on some jersey action. We got Brad Holmes Bulge in there again at $4.99. Said Brad Holmes Bulge will explain it all. He gives back to the community and has helped sponsor needy fans going to games. Bulge Army is a positive movement. Love it. Well, get me in on the action. Let's get some of this Bulge Army on some shows or something and talk some football or whatever you guys are into, whatever you're doing. We'll try to get you some more support, but let me get you in here again for another donation. I'm all about positivity, man. All about positivity.
One final time, Jared. One final time. Moves in behind center. Takes the snap. Takes the knee. This game is over.
All right. J-Rod, he says, let's not blow up the chat. Paul John repeat. J-Rod, shout out $5. He wants in on that jersey action, man. You guys are awesome. You know that? All of you guys. But that's what this community is all about, right? I mean, we're here to support each other, and we're here to support our Detroit Lions. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So whatever we have to do to keep that movement alive, it's all good with me. Anthony Rock says, live, laugh, bulge. All right, man. Anthony Rock, if you don't mind, what state are you in? Tell me a little bit about you. Wonder if there's any relation here. And I'll get my phone hooked up here in just a few moments. I'm going to let it charge for just a couple of seconds. Feel free to call in. We'll open up the phone lines here in less than 9 minutes. Jeffrey Cunningham says, I'm new to this. How can I buy you coffee? So there is a website called buymeacoffee.com or buyacoffee.com. I just did all this and now I forgot my own thing. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up. But anyway, you go to the website and you can register as a supporter. That way I've got your name. The biggest thing is putting your name in there because otherwise I don't know who to give the credit to. You can also put your email in there if you want. Some of those messages are displayed, obviously on that page. When people visit, they'll be able to see you, at least the information that you share. So it's up to you what you want to put there. I don't share your information with people. Give me 1 second. So if you go to the description, even of this live stream, there is a link in there for Buy Me a Coffee. And it's buymeacoffee.com/rocked on. So ROCKEDON. That brings you to my page, and you can donate, $5 or whatever the minimum is over there. And Buy Me a Coffee is actually a better product than YouTube Super Chat. So if you guys do Super Chat other YouTubers, encourage them to get a Buy Me a Coffee, because YouTube takes a ton. They take a ton of the donation money. Buy Me a Coffee hardly takes anything at all. Like 10%, I think, is what they take. And so the money goes further. It goes back into the community to do jersey giveaways, or we do tickets to games, or whatever. We do all sorts of stuff. I've got like 100 Charbroil grill covers to give away between now and probably June or July. It's summertime. You guys need new grill covers. So we're going to be giving out a ton of them. And it's all sponsored by Rocked On Podcast Network and my sponsors and others. And of course, the best supporters and sponsors of this channel, which is you. That's where all that money goes back into. So we got Jack Campbell's Cannon. Is that another one of these movements? We got Cannon and Bulge now. I love it. Absolutely love it. So let me get into another topic here. We'll come back to the chat in just a moment. So topic 2 tonight is Cion Vaki. So, I did a video the other day on Cion Vaki, and I found it interesting that the Lions had their pre-draft visit with Cion Vaki, and he's been labeled, according to Jeff Risdon, as a very unusual talent, and he is exactly that. You want me to talk about Ayuk, J-Rod? I can do that first. So Brandon Ayuk, look, I don't know who comes up with this stuff, but does anybody think in their right mind that we're going to bring Brandon Ayuk into Detroit after what happened in that game? I highly doubt Brad Holmes would ever clash rooms like that, locker rooms, ever. Like, I get it. There's a difference between being a professional, about what you do and bringing in the best of the best if you can. And then there's being careless. And if you were to bring in that player and all the crap that went down between, the Vildor, the ball bouncing off his face, the catch, and then them winning, there ain't no way. Ain't no way I see Brad Holmes bringing in a 49er into this locker room. Ain't no way. Not this year. And especially Brandon Ayuk. One, he's going to want too much money. So I don't know who puts this stuff out there. I mean, it seems like everyone tries to hide behind the shroud of rumor. They use rumor a lot, which, it's fine. But there's a difference between, a rumor that's actually being talked about, and there should be some credibility to the rumor, meaning it came from somewhere, like inside maybe the 49ers office, maybe one of the scouts or, anybody that's part of the 49ers talking about anybody, a part of the Lions talking about it, not just a receiver or not just, a receiver being talked about by, whether it's a writer, a beat writer, YouTuber, whomever, whatever the case may be. There's a big difference between having a rumor and just straight up making stuff up because you think it's a good idea. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But it just seems like it gets, I don't know, way overplayed. I don't know what you guys think, but it kind of gets way overplayed. Yeah, CJ didn't have a good season, man. Like, I'm glad that CJ's not back. That would have been, in my opinion, it would have been a bad move. J-Rod, so my thoughts on Mechie. I went over this on Thursday morning with the Rise and Grind morning show. And yeah, I just don't think he's a fit right now. I think that we have too many Mechies on the team. He's an exact size of, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We need a boundary guy, in my opinion. We need a bigger boundary guy that can, do some damage in the red zone. Someone that's north of 6'3". I know an inch doesn't seem like it matters a whole lot, but depending on this, the width of the guy's body, the depth of the guy's body, the wingspan, the jumping ability. I mean, all of the measurables matter. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't know if Brad Holmes agrees, but I would think that it would only make more sense to grab a boundary guy, X receiver, red zone guy, somebody that can really come in and compete at a high level. Now, it's not to say that Mechie wouldn't be a steal. Man, shout out to Steve K. Just bought 3 coffees, man. You're on fire, you guys. Not to say that Mechie wouldn't be a steal and maybe has something that he can, prove on a different team, which from the sounds of it, he needs a different team now because that room just got really crowded. Wow. Shout out to the Bulge Army showing support for Lions creators and fans. Just bought some coffee. You guys are awesome, man. I'm going to have to get caught up here by the end of the night. My spreadsheet's going to get full. So, yeah, I just don't think it's a good fit, man. I appreciate you, Rod Woods Bulge, man. It's awesome. I just don't think it's a good fit right now. I think that I'd rather see DPJ really have a solid crack at making this team. I think that he's going to benefit highly of this offseason. And given the chance to really produce and do what he was doing in 2020, was it 21? No, 22. Sorry. If we can get 600-700 yards, out of DPJ, that we're winning big time. We need someone to replace Reynolds right now. And we also need someone that can also take the top off along with JMO, but maybe a little bit bigger, of an X receiver. I think JMO's in that same position as Amon-Ra. They're just not, they're not imposing forces from a size wise, but man, if JMO can catch fire this year, between him and Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's going to be tough to slow that offense down. You got 2 different styles of wide receiver play that are both going to be electric and problems for opposing defenses. So I hope that answers your question. Shout out to Kobe Stacy in the house, Jack 2125. We got the News Drifter in the house, Shadow Viper, Craig Hogue, Brent. So we're filling up nicely tonight. All right, so we need more of that Herman Moore, Calvin Johnson. Exactly, J-Rod. That's what I'm liking right there. Herman Moore was he was one of the bigger wide receivers to do it during his time, more of a finesse guy. And I mean, Calvin was just Calvin. I mean, one of one, never going to see it again. At least I haven't seen it yet. So that's what I'm looking at. Got 65 in the chat today, huh? Still a light night. Man, we were doing hundreds a night for a while there. It'll pick up. Once we get close to the draft, it's going to be nuts. Sometimes I like a little bit slower night, so that way we can actually manage the chat. Would I prioritize the bigger wide receiver or edge in the first? Oh, man, I think you know this. I got to go edge. Have to go edge. I'm not sold on edge yet. I think we got a lot of nice pieces. I think we got a great amount of depth. We need that it factor. We need the IT guy to step up. And I'm not talking your computer expert. We need the it factor to get on this team. And we may have one, but we don't know Matthew Betts yet. Davenport, I don't think that he really makes anybody, jump up and down, get excited. So it doesn't mean that these guys can't be good, but we need a playmaker, in my opinion. Yep. To your point, Donkey Kong, Brad Holmes definitely takes his guys, no matter what. He takes his guys. Adam says his biggest fear is that they are content with the guys they have and once again ignore the edge in the draft. Yeah. I really don't think that's going to happen unless this draft gets really screwed up in the beginning. So the other day when I was doing my mock, which I apologize, I never finished the second half. I got so busy with stuff. First, we lost everything, and then we tried to do it live. But I'll have it all done before Monday. We'll zip through it, and then we'll get to the next mock on Monday. It'll be a longer show. So, in my last mock, I had JJ McCarthy going early. And from some of the reports that I was reading today, it sounds like that's starting to pick up some steam. And if that's the case, if we see 5 wide receivers go in a row or 5 quarterbacks go in a row, I can't say that I would be surprised right now. It's a great possibility that Minnesota still moves up, even though there's some rumors going around that they may not, and that the Patriots may go ahead and take JJ or Washington, which leaves Jaden or JJ for the other one. And then Penix. So I want to say, was it Minnesota that just flew out their entire team to go see Penix? So that tells you that I think it was Minnesota. They flew their entire staff out to go see Penix, which tells you that they might be able to sit tight and not have to move up. And that'll give them an opportunity to grab a wide receiver and a quarterback in the, back half of the first round. They can get a wide receiver early and grab Penix with their second pick. So that would give us potentially 4 quarterbacks early. And then that 5th pick could be wide receiver or Joe Alt. Depends on who's up there. Will, do I see us getting a chance at Latu? Personally, I would turn and run away from Latu, but that's just me. Jeffrey Cunningham, I did it. I just bought you a coffee. Appreciate it. And you came in the house and donated $1.99. Man, you guys are on it. I'll get in and double check all these and load it up to the spreadsheet. So Jeffrey Cunningham, appreciate you stopping in tonight. You're a new name for me in the chat, so I definitely appreciate having you part of Rock Down Detroit Lions and the whole Bulge Army, man. Like welcome in tonight. That's quite the nice surprise to have all these new people in. And we only have a few rules over here. We try to respect everybody. We try to be, cordial. Try not to attack people. Let's keep it fun, cool, calm, collected. All about the Detroit Lions. And obviously no politics. We try to stay away from that stuff because it just bends people sideways. Not like a good defensive end bend. It bends you the other direction. But shout out, let me get you guys some Miller tunes here.
Oh Detroit, stand up. You've waited for this. One proud nation, stand up. You've waited for this.
Yeah, so Tracy and Shadow Viper. Yeah, so the neck injury, that's what worries me. And I realize that, he's played 2 seasons post the neck injury and he's gotten a lot of clearances. But man, that really it's an injury that can creep back up, pretty quickly too. Just getting hit wrong, landing wrong, stood up the wrong way even, and it can come back to bite you. So I would stay clear of it. It doesn't make sense to take injured players in the first round. I know we've done it. I think JMO might have been, an outlier, meaning there was so much potential there that you couldn't walk away from it. But with Latu, you've seen everything that he can do post injury. So I don't think that there's anything else to look for. What he can do. So now you have to be comfortable with that injury or you're not. I think it's that simple. And I'm not comfortable. But that means that Brad's probably going to pick him then because it's somebody I'm running away from. Eric Rintamaki says Peninsula makes so much sense for Penix. Peninsula. You mean the Vikings? I'm sorry. News Drifter says, I doubt Nealon makes it to the 3rd. I don't think he does either. I think that Nealon is kind of right where he has been, and that's middle of the 2nd. Brent says, yes, Edge will then possibly move back into the second round and pick up a few more players. Yeah, I would love to see Brad Holmes move up. We were talking about that on Thursday morning, Eric and I. So Eric is on the morning show, and I won't spill all the beans right now, but we've got some major players coming to this network. There's still one that we're working on, or should I say, Eric and one of the new guys that's going to join this network are working on somebody to land on this show. And if everything goes the way I hope it goes, this podcast is about to level up big time. Not only with the addition of somebody this upcoming week, but someone else that will help bring a different set of eyes and somebody that has done it before at the professional level. And it would be a huge level up for this podcast if we can make it all happen. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to at least have a conversation with them and see where it goes. But big things coming and not too far off too. So exciting news. I just can't say it all. But yep, Tony Bonifero be joining us next week. Former coach. I think he's a current coach still too at the prep level and high school level, Canadian Football League, not the professional level, but Canadian football. Super excited to have him come in. Let's see here. What else we got in here? Lone Wolf, do you think the new kickoff rule changes the Lions? Will change the Lions look for a return specialist? I do believe that it does change what they're going to do. I'm not super excited about putting Jahmyr Gibbs or JMO back there. And I know that's two of the names that have been flying around, but that's why I wanted to talk about Cion Vaki. So let me get into Cion Vaki for just a moment. And I think that will help. I really do. I think that that'll help big time. So Cion Vaki, safety, one of the more interesting prospects in this draft. Huge shout out to Brad Holmes. Bulge just bought 3 more coffees. I mean, you guys are on it. Absolutely on it. I can't even. We got Brock's Cock bought some coffees. Jeffrey Cunningham, the ornery U of M dad. Who else? Fred Lyon 313. Steve K. A lot of people tonight. You guys are on fire. Appreciate it. You guys want your jersey, man. So anyway, one of the more interesting prospects in this draft is Cion Vaki. He had an interview with Justin Mello of the Draft Network that he has had his top 30 visit with the Lions, which I believe was yesterday. I could be wrong, but I believe it was yesterday. I did a video on him last week sometime. So before he was going to have his top 30 visit, but he played both. Excuse me. He played both safety and running back for the Utah Utes. And I tell you what, he didn't want to play running back. He does not want to play running back in the NFL, but this guy lit it up. And he only played the running back position, or took over the running back position because there was injury. And he completely lit it up. You guys have got to go watch this kid's highlights. I absolutely love what he could do in the return game. So that is a need for this team. We have Khalif Raymond right now, who should come back and recoup his opportunity there, receiving punts and kicks potentially. But Cion Vaki, to be a safety in a room that has its starters, he's a great backup, can earn a spot, playing special teams, somebody that you're probably going to have to pick up at pick 73. So it's how early do you want to add a safety if we potentially add a corner in the first round, or an edge in the first round and a corner in the second, and then a safety? I think we're good on the defensive side of the ball. I think at that point you're going to go all offensive line after that is kind of what I'm thinking right now. So Vaki played, like I said, both safety and running back for the Utes. He's 5'11", 210 pounds, completely versatile. He played at least 50 snaps at free safety, box safety, slot corner, and off-ball linebacker on defense. So when you talk about positional versatility, this is like a bag of gummy worms for Brad Holmes. Like he's getting every flavor from this guy, and I love it. He even took 13 reps in the Wildcat as the quarterback. Could definitely handle kickoff and kick return positions down if he needed to. He can do it. Absolutely. So very unique. Check him out. Cion Vaki. I think he's a great fit. Amazing talent. His measurables are good. He's not the fastest guy in the world. I think he runs like a 4.6 or 4.64. But quite honestly, you're not running in a straight line all the time. And he outran guys when he was, toting the rock. He had no problem. In that video I did the other day, there was some highlights where, he completely stonewalled guys. He put them on ice skates left and right. Really, really fun to watch. Cion, what's his NFL comp? What safety? I would say Quandre Diggs. Quite honestly. I can look him up, though. I'll see who else has got him pegged somewhere. I haven't seen any comps for him. See if NFL.com has anything, or I'll zip over to Draft Buzz and see if they have anything. But I think when I look at him and watch him play, he reminds me a lot of Diggs. Give me 1 second here. I'll pull it up. Now, he doesn't have the greatest of measurables, right? 5'11", so he's a little on the shorter side to be a safety. I would prefer my safeties to be at least 6'1". His hands are kind of small, but I'm not looking for him to make a whole lot of interceptions. I'm looking for him to make tackles. His weight's good. Obviously, his broad jump and his bench and his 10-yard split were insane. All elite level. Vertical elite level, 39.5 inch. This was a Senior Bowl participant. Did really well. Come on, there's got to be a comp in here somewhere. I don't see one. So I'll have to dig into it. I won't look now because it'll probably take forever, and I don't want a bunch of dead air. Let me look at one more spot. Yeah, I don't see one. All right, so what else we got in here? What we got in the chat here? Thought I saw something about Kamara pop into the chat. Thoughts on Mo Kamara in a late round? So Kamara's another intriguing prospect. Let me pop him in Draft Buzz real quick since I don't have anything on him. So 6'1", 248, a little on the shorter side. Quite honestly, the fact that he ran a 4.57 is astounding. Absolutely astounding. But he's 248, so he's the same weight, as like a Chop Robinson, just, a couple inches shorter. He's got small hands. His arms are almost there. His wingspan's a little short. You guys know how I am about the arms, man. You've got to have the arms to play defensive end. When we were watching Dallas Turner the other day, I went back and watched some other highlights of him, and his best attribute was getting long with one arm. That's why you need arms. You need to have long arms, because on some of these big guys, if you're going up against Joe Alt, good luck. I don't care how long your arms are. You've just got to be super fast to get past them. But those, big mauling type of, left tackles or right tackles, once they get their mitts on you, and if their arms are over 33.5 inches, that's your stock. You're not going anywhere. But Dallas Turner utilized his arms, not so much in that LSU game, but utilized his arm length quite a bit to be able to maneuver. And once you get that one arm kind of underneath the pad and you jam those pads up into the tackle's chin, you can literally drive them like a car and move them around. And that's why I'm big on the arms. So I guess that would be my only concern without watching, any tape right now. Because it's been a while since I looked at Kamara. I saw him at the combine, I believe. And that was about it. I saw a few highlights of him just by going through this stuff, but he's an intriguing prospect from a lot of things that I've read. He's just not going to stack up in the measurable department. But he went from a 3-star recruit to a pretty dominant force on defense at Colorado State. He's relentless, is what they say. He's a harder, he earns it. He's a hard head. He wants to get it done right. What else are they saying about him? Elite speed and overall athletics. Exhibits an exceptional first step, which, that's half the battle, is just getting off the damn ball. Strong repertoire of pass rush moves. So that's good if he's got, a skill set quiver is what I like to call it, but has a relentless motor, aggressive pursuit, violent hands. Hands is a big thing for Dallas Turner. So that's the one thing that he's going to have to work on big time is his hands. He needs to get more violent. These guys need to go take, some karate classes or whatever, MMA style of fighting or, utilizes your hands a lot, more violent hands. These guys need to go take some of those classes. I wish I could go back and play sports again with all the knowledge you get when you're older. There's so many things I would have done different. So many things. Let's see here. Yeah, DPJ return kicks for the Browns and at Michigan, I think. It's been a minute, but I think he did. So Sports Talk with Rob's in the house says Muhammad Kamara is a sleeper. He can definitely help our pass rush. So, that would be my question for you guys. Would you rather see, someone that doesn't stack up in the measurable department early in the draft or late? Obviously late. So if I'm going to take somebody early, if I'm going to take somebody at 29, they've got to hit the measurables. Have to. They just have to. To me, it doesn't make sense to waste a pick on someone that could be something. And what I mean by that is if they have the measurables, you can typically coach them and train them to do what you need them to do. If they don't have the measurables, well, then they have to do everything perfect because you're deficient in areas that you can't do anything about. Does that make sense? So why don't you want Chop, Adam? What's wrong with Chop? I like Chop. I think that Chop's going to need some coaching for sure. Absolutely he's going to. But let me take a look at his measurables because last I remember his measurables were pretty good. 6'3", runs a 4.48, which is obviously blazing. 6'3", so he's got the good height. That's like right at the bottom of my perfect defensive end. Weight at 254. I'm not so worried about the weight because when you stack Chop Robinson up against the top 20 that have ever done it in the last 10 years in the NFL, his weight's fine, his height's fine, his hands are fine, his arms are maybe an inch too short. They're 32 and a half. I like to see him at least 33 and a half. But his get off is incredible. His short area burst and quickness is incredible. Vertical is a little light, and that one just doesn't make sense to me. So how do you have a phenomenal 10-yard, phenomenal 40, phenomenal shuttle, incredible broad in a short vertical? Like, what happened to the explosion? Because you just You did really well in the explosive compartment of the training, and the testing. But then you kind of failed at the vertical. Maybe it was just a bad jump, bad day. Who knows? Yeah, Chop could need, a little bit, but that I do like Chop. Like if we had to take him, I'm good with it. But someone just mentioned Darius Robinson. And in my opinion, Darius Robinson is one of the most elite pass rushers in this draft. Measurable wise, he's 1,000% one of the most elite. Dallas Turner is the most elite when it comes to measurables in this draft, at least by my scoring metrics that I created. And Darius is just going to need a little bit, he's going to need a little bit of coaching. Let's just put it that way. He's going to be a little bit raw. Coming into the league, he's probably going to be deficient, with some of his pass rush moves, which kind of showed up on tape. Marcus Nealand, or I think his name is Marcus Nealand, but Nealand's the same way. He's got, all of the violence and everything you want in the hands. Nealand does, but he was just a little bit raw in some of his pass rush moves, which again, that's all trainable, right? I mean, it's all coachable. It's teachable. And that's what I love. So that's where it's like, okay, they got perfect measurables. I can work with that. I can't work with someone that doesn't. Man, you guys are just lighting up these coffees here. Another 5 coffees from Jared Goff's bulge. Got Jared Goff's bulge in the house. Easy Does It says, I wouldn't mind D Robinson. I wouldn't either, man. I wouldn't be shocked if he's, top of Brad Holmes' list, to be honest with you. An elite pass rush can mask any secondary. Good point, Adam. Brent says, if we get Darius, he would bull rush the quarterbacks big time. Look, I'm all about having a defensive end opposite of Aiden. And now that we have DJ Reader, I mean, my mind has just been spinning a little bit the last few weeks ever since we had Reader, because I'm thinking, you got Aiden and Aleem, right? Now you got DJ and Darius at double A and double D. Isn't that kind of funny? Like if you ended up with Darius, double A and double D. I love it. But I could only imagine, if they start to flip-flop a little bit, it's like you go speed rush, and then you go bull rush, and then you flip-flop. You got speed and bull all at the same time. It's going to be interesting to see what happens and who they take first. Craig Hogue, I don't know what's wrong with Kool-Aid. What happened? Jeffrey Cunningham, do I like Darius Robinson or Marshawn Nealand for edge? My answer is both. I like them both. I like Darius at pick 29. I like Nealand probably at pick 50 right now. But you got to remember, chat. What, Jaster, what are you talking about on the chat? I missed something. What did I miss, Jaster? Anyway, so you got to remember that all of my picks and things that I'm doing now, they're all going to change on the night before. So the night before, when I do the pre-draft party, that's, like 4 hours long, we go through all the picks, we talk about everybody, and then I put in all of my picks for the Lions the night before. So really nothing's going to change until the day of. And then the day of, obviously we're watching it happen. And so I'll have my big board out. And before we get to the Lions, it's like, this is who we're going to take. Hopefully, we'll see how close I can get. But this year I should probably be, at Detroit for the first round. And then I'll be back home for the second 2 days. So Jaster, I don't know what I missed. What did I miss? Jaster from Gift Bag. I'm still not following you. Yeah, you got your gift card in your gift bag. Did you email me back, Jaster? Didn't I ask you about your grill size? I'll go back into the email in a little bit. It'll be going out tomorrow. or Monday. Jacer just got his draft hat. All right. Nice work. At least you got one because, man, they are all selling out like crazy. I have like 6 different hats now from this lot this year, all the different colors. I had to get some from another place. Oh, I got you, Craig. I'm like, what happened to Kool-Aid? Because he's still top of my list too. But that's the good part about this draft, right? It's a good part of what Brad Holmes just did. You know, he really settled up our defense, and the offensive side of the ball was already fine, but he really settled up this defense to walk into this draft. No worries. Like, here's my question to you guys. And let me put this in a Q&A, I guess. Or maybe we could do a poll. Maybe we got Braylon Dennis in the house. No, Sunday I'll be there for Michigan Panthers. Sunday. I won't be going to the Tigers tomorrow, I don't think. I never even really thought about it, honestly. I haven't been to a Tigers game in a few seasons. So let me ask you guys this. If we started the season right now with who we have on the team, what is your biggest concern? And how much better do you think we are than we were last year on defense? So last year overall, we finished 19th, right? 19th total defense. I think we are bottom 27th against the pass. Obviously, we are like top 3, I think, against the run. So where did we get better right now? Assuming everyone's healthy, besides Emmanuel Mosley, DJ Reader should be fine. At least he's expected to be fine. So how many points better do you think we are right now? 19th overall to what? Are we a top 15? So I'm going to put it in a poll. All right, so I only put 2 options. Are we top 19 or top 15? I should have put top 10 in there too, but because I think we're between there. Personally, I think we're between 15 to 19. I think we got a few points closer to a top 15 defense, and I honestly feel like we're right there at like 16, maybe 15. And I think that if we had a top 15 defense in the NFC title game, we win that game. Absolutely. Let me wind this back and see what you guys are saying here. So Braylon Dennis, pass rush. Peter Van Larhoven, cornerback, depth, not a starter. Pass rush by Adam. Edge and wide receiver 3 by Cion. We're set at run stoppers. Easy does it. Pass rush for Braylon. James, I'm not talking Darius Robinson. He's too much like Pascal and Kaminsky. Interesting. I think Darius is a lot different than them body-wise. Adam says we might creep into the 15th. I think we're close to that too, man. A lone wolf, pass rush and corner. Decker Pecker, depth at safety, and Ragnall's toe. Yeah, we definitely need a center at some point. Actually, I take that back. We got Graham Glasgow. We got to get better. Opposite of Hutch. James, cornerback by far. Biggest concern is the O-line. So Tobin wrote, biggest concern, O-line. So I would agree there that we do need some O-line depth big time. We got a crazy good offensive line this year. Crazy. We're better than last year. And that's tough to do because we finished top 3. But we're crazy good. Wow, you guys just crushed the coffees. Holy cow. I'm excited about the O-line. I'm just not excited about the depth. Yeah, and that was kind of the point to whoever I seen what you said, but I didn't see the name. It's kind of hard not seeing them play, so it's kind of hard to tell, are we better, are we not better? That's kind of the point. Like, just kind of where are we? Like, where do you think we are? You know, we haven't seen them do anything yet. Braylon says we're still at 19. Brent says it's up to the draft. Donovan Amos, you like Fisk? Fisk got them short arms too, man. Like, I was all in on Fisk. He was a top 15 prospect before the combine. And I was sitting there next to Eric Rintamaki. And I said, he just fell out of the first round. Only because of his measurables. Because he lit it up. Completely lit it up. You know, he's like screaming during his 40. Like, the guy has it. Mentally, emotionally, physically, he has it. He just doesn't have the one measurable, which is his arms. Jerzon Newton worth the 29th pick. You know, I got to be honest with you. I don't know why he was a top 15 pick prior to the combine. When I watched his tape, I just was not, and maybe it was the wrong tape. I was not impressed as much as I was with, you know, guys like Verse. I know different position, but Verse and Murphy. I mean, Murphy was absolutely violent on the interior of the defense. Absolutely violent. But he also came up short too in his measurables. So Adam, OTAs, I believe OTAs. You got rookie mini camp, which is going to be like the first or second weekend after the draft. And I could have sworn that a team that just hired new coaches could start OTAs. Like, I think the Falcons already did. So, off-season workout program is first day is April 15th. Is when that they can do. No, wait, that might be different now. Yeah, so April 15th, I think they can start going through workouts. But like nothing super official. I think it's April 15th. But on the books, OTA workouts begin May 21. With mandatory minicamp being June 4. I'll have to dig into that some more too. I don't know that stuff right off the top of my head. Hutch is a T-Rex. I would be happy with another Hutch. Braylon Dennis says, check the DMs. I will send you something previously about off-season workout. Oh, okay. Wow, Decker Packer just bought 3 coffees. Man, you guys are on fire. Insane. Yeah, I have not checked anything, Braylon. I've been totally off, like, all social media for like the last, and honestly, I've been up since 1:00 this morning, 1:30. My dog was throwing up everywhere. Not only did I take a nap yesterday for the first time in a long time, but then the dog started throwing up. So I was up, never went back to sleep. So if I'm a little off tonight, that's because I'm literally haven't slept. I got a few hours of sleep yesterday, but I've been up since about 1. I was literally drinking coffee at 2:30 in the morning because I couldn't shut my eyes. So I'm like, forget it. We're just going to get up and do this. Yeah, Bulge Army, man. You guys showed out today and showed up. Appreciate it. You guys absolutely welcome back anytime. I always appreciate having new people in And it's been great to see you guys interacting so far. And you completely just blew up the coffee program. And then look, it's not needed, it's not like expected. Obviously, we've got a contest going on right now, a little giveaway action. But your support of this channel is it doesn't go unnoticed. Let's put it that way. Everyone that's been in this and part of this has been absolutely incredible. That's why I love the Lions fan base. Even though, I mean, hey, I get critical at times too. We've had some toxicity here or there. It's part of it. Yeah. Donovan Amos. Good call, man. Phone lines. Let's get the phone lines open. It's Friday chat night. Phone is charged. Let's do it. I only had a couple more things. Obviously, we talked about Vaki and Ayuk. But I had one other thing that we'll talk about maybe towards the end, which is quarterbacks and the history of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks and what it means for Jared Goff. So whether you're in his boat or not in his boat, what it kind of means. Thanks, Brent. Appreciate you. I never ask for that stuff. I always forget to, have people hit the like button and try to share it and get it out there. And for all the Bulge Army and everyone that's new tonight, just so you know, sometimes I forget, but my live streams are 100% ad free while you're live. Give me 1 second, caller. I'll bring you right in.
Mm-hmm.
So my streams are 100% ad free. We pay for all the ads. We don't want any ads playing. Like I said, sometimes I forget. And when I get things scheduled, we automatically turn everything on and it does its thing. But someone will usually remind me right away. But we do that because we don't want, you guys to have to bounce out and bounce in, bounce out, not come back, but also uninterrupted stream for people that are dedicated to show up. The least we can do is not have ads playing. So whether you have YouTube Premium or you don't, there will be no ads in our streams while we're live. Once we close it down, then we turn it on. So, all right, let me welcome in this caller. And I only have one line, so I just saw somebody else called too. You got to wait till I get this caller off the line. Welcome into Rockdown Detroit Lions. This is Will. Who do I got on the phone?
Adam.
Adam. Hey, man. How you doing? Thanks for calling in tonight. What's going on?
First, I just want to say I love the show. I'm glad I found your account. I love the work that you put in. It provides me a lot of insight, and I'm all about the Lions, so I really appreciate, all the information that I've been able to gather listening to your shows.
Well, I super appreciate that, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course. I just want to say, as you said, history says that players that the Lions visit are players that the Lions draft.
Yeah.
So I hope it comes out that they have met with one of the top, edges, or that they're planning on meeting with one of the top edges. I have 20 days of being hopeful that, we trade up and, get Hutch a running mate, because I'm with Derek. Like, this whole letting people have 3 years to throw the ball, it's cool when Jared Goff has 3 years, but it's not cool when we can't get nobody down,
Yeah.
So I hope it comes out that we met with, any of them, of the top ones, because I would like a guy who can win their one-on-one, and I truly believe that either Verse, Latu, Turner, or even Darius would win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
In our defense because of Hutch. Having Hutch is the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So whoever is opposite of him just needs to win their one-on-one. And nobody was doing that last year on our defense. You know what I mean? Like, nobody opposite of him was, getting anything. So I believe that we would get that. We would get finally a Rookie of the Year. So I hope, I'm hoping 20 days that, Brad comes through for us. And if his plan all along was to draft, use pick 73 and use a future third or something to get one of the top tier edges, and not pay a guy $50 million, I'm all for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My question to you is,
yeah. So hold on. Let me back up real quick. So that all makes perfect sense. And what you're saying makes perfect sense, because right now Hutchinson's obviously the product of not having a strong right defensive end or a strong right defensive tackle. We added Reeder. So now Hutch is going to big time benefit from Reeder, taking up the double teams. But to your question on, did we meet with these guys? So they've already met with Marshawn Nealand, Nelson Caesar, Darius Robinson, Braylon Trice. They've also met with Jerzon Newton and Javon Solomon. So in my opinion, edge rusher is on the top of their mind, because they've spent, those were all visits and meetings at the combine, formal visits and meetings at the combine. So they're spending their time wisely with guys that they feel that could help them. Like Nelson Caesar could be a 3rd, 4th, or 5th round pick, depending on what happens. And I love his tape. So go ahead, go on with what you're going to say.
Yes, real quick to that. So this is the thing, right? We all would like the Lombardi, especially the draft is in Green Bay next year. I would love nothing more than for us to bring out the Lombardi in front of their fans.
That'd be great.
I can't stand those guys. And those guys, like a lot of those guys that we have met with, because I look at that list every day. I feel like we're going to have to wait 2, 3, 4 years to actually see them, put out some production.
Mm-hmm.
I would like a guy who, one, can help us win this year. So what do I mean by that? I mean, let's get close to 10 sacks,
Yeah.
And my question to you is, do you think that this would go, I don't know if this is like a thing do you think he would ever not draft, like let's say, for example, Turner is there at 29. Let's say he wouldn't draft him because he would overshadow Hutch? That is my question. And thank you for taking my call. I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, man. You too. You going to take the answer offline?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, man. Appreciate you calling in, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. First time caller on this show, Adam. Appreciate you calling in tonight, man. Great conversation with you. Great statements. And to answer your question, so I said this a couple months ago, and it was kind of jokingly with Derek. I said, maybe we haven't brought somebody in free agency yet because they didn't want to, put the pressure on Hutch. Like, he's their top dog. He's their alpha dog. Maybe they don't want to bring somebody in to overshadow Hutch. We got another caller. Hold on here. Hey, this is Will with Rockdown Detroit Lions. I'll bring you in just a moment, okay?
Got you.
So, obviously, I was just joking because I don't think you can ever have enough talent. Number one, I think that you can always have better talent at any position. And if that individual ends up being better than Hutch, that's only going to make Hutch better, right? That's where the iron sharpens iron. So to answer your question, no, I don't think that Brad Holmes would not draft somebody because they could potentially be better or overshadow. I think they want that competition. I think that Hutch wants that competition. I think that Hutch will be elite once we have the right pieces on this defensive line, that can be responsible for their zone, their job, just do their own job. That's it. And I think that we'll see a totally different player, out of Hutch, but I also think we'll see a totally different defense too. Lastly, before I bring in the next caller, the top 30 visits so far: defensive tackle Christian Boyd. He's someone that's probably in the 6th round. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quantez Stiggers, Nehemiah Pritchett, safety Cion Vaki. So if you notice the trend, they're going through, like one positional group at a time is what I'm noticing. We'll see if that continues. All right, let's bring in our caller. This is Will with Rockdown Detroit Lions. Who do I got on the line? Did I lose you?
Nope.
All right, who do I got on the line?
Donovan,
what's happening, my man? And
good?
did you bring this Bulge Army in tonight?
Yes, sir. Shout out Bulge Army.
That's right, man. You guys rocked it out tonight.
Yeah, so I see us taking a corner with the first pick and a wide receiver with the second pick because I don't see edge rusher being best player available. I don't think we're gonna try to get an edge rusher to like the third round.
Really?
And yeah, and I'm just not sure we're gonna get the edge rusher we're looking for in the third round. So I think we should take a chance on Fisk.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would take a chance on Fisk if it was in the third round, 100%. But I don't see him slip into the third. I think that someone else will take a chance on him before that. Let me back up for a second, though, because the last caller, Adam, he had brought up an idea of, trading maybe pick 73 in a future, which would have to be a first rounder, maybe a second rounder to move up to get one of the top tier defensive ends. So if we did that and we got into the top 12, like I'm thinking we trade up with Denver, who do we take, Donovan? Would you take a defensive end then?
Yeah, if it's like in the first round, we can trade up. I can do that.
Yeah, but who would you take? Would you take Jared Verse?
No, I'd take Dallas Turner.
You would take Turner too?
Yeah.
I might change my mind on Turner. If I'm at 12, if I'm truly at 12 and I've got a pick between Verse and Turner, the one difference that I see between Turner and Verse, because I went back and watched tape, is Verse is extremely violent with his hands and his hand placement. And I mean, he takes tackles and he doesn't try to fight through them. He literally grabs them and throws them out of the way. And so when I watched that again the other day, I'm like, yeah, like like Turner's got great upside, but Verse has it now. Like he has it right now. So we'll see. We'll see where my projections go, on the night before the draft. But what else is on your mind, man?
Yeah, I say like we should take a chance on Fisk if we don't see an edge rusher we want in the third round because, like you said, we already got 7 edge rushers, so why not get better at D tackle? Because I'm not sure if I trust Broderick Martin and Levi Onwuzurike.
Yeah, Levi obviously is just an injury waiting to happen. He has been so far his whole career. Josh Pascal's kind of been the same way. The interior defensive tackle position, hybrid position, has been kind of up in arms, consistently the last couple of seasons. We just haven't had guys be consistent. Maybe Josh Pascal finally steps into it this year. Maybe Levi plays a full season. I mean, both of those things really haven't happened yet. So I think that there's a lot to be wanted there. And I would agree that, you could never have enough really good defensive tackles, just like you probably really can't ever have enough really good cornerbacks. It's just defensive tackles, you're kind of limited on how many you can carry,
Yeah, I read Fisk, they did like a report on him and they said he can get through double teams. If we get another guy who can take on those double teams, Aiden Hutchinson will be looking like TJ Watt out there.
He could.
So,
man, I don't know what you did tonight, bringing all these people in with you tonight, but now we got Dan Orlovsky's dong in the house. Like, you got Decker Pecker. I mean, you got all these guys in here that it's hilarious. People that I haven't even conversated with yet on Twitter, but do me a favor and find me on Twitter at Will Rock Jr. so I can join the fun and see all this banter that's going on Twitter, man. You guys are absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I think we get a safety before the draft too. That's because if you get after the draft, my bad, because they're gonna have to take less if we get them after the draft.
And now we got Jack Campbell's Cannon. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just another new name popped in, the Jack Campbell's Cannon. Yeah, so safety. Look, I feel like 1,000% safety is a need. I just don't know if it's going to happen before the draft because I think some of the safeties that maybe Brad Holmes would want to target are probably looking for, all right, who's going to do well in the draft, number one. Who's going to address safety in the draft? I don't want to go to a team and then not have an opportunity to play, or not be the true, starter over this, shiny new rookie. So I think that you might see some of the safeties that are left on the board right now wait and see what happens in the draft because, guys like Simmons, they're wanted. Trust me, they're wanted. It's just teams got to come off a big pocket for him. And it's got to be the right fit for him too. So, but I think, go ahead.
We ain't gonna get no star safety. I don't believe that. We just gonna get a little rotational piece. Probably take a look at Diggs or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah. Diggs, I think, didn't he just retire?
No, that's April. I think it was an April Fool's joke.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I was like, dang, he's gonna stay tied up with Glover Quinn because him and Glover Quinn, Glover finished his career, I think, with 24 interceptions, and I think Diggs is at 24 interceptions. He just needs one more to pass Glover. Man, it's been a friendly, back and forth between them over the years. Kind of interesting, but I miss having like a Glover Quinn on the team, man. I really do. Like that dude was such a dog out there. And I don't know if you guys noticed what Glover's doing now, but you got to go find him, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram or whatever he's on. He does custom framework, and he's like, I would say he's a professional photographer, but I think he refers to himself as an amateur. But he does incredible work. I tried reaching out to see how I could get some of his work because it's absolutely insane, the stuff that he puts together.
Yeah.
Go support him is what I'm saying.
I think if we get another dog defensive tackle, then Jack Campbell can develop as a pass rusher. And I think he can play he can dang near play the edge. Look how athletic I saw his little combine video. It looked like he can play the edge.
You talking about Campbell?
No, what is it? Braden Fisk.
Yeah, Braden can definitely play on the edge. He definitely could, especially with his speed and his power. He's interior defensive tackle, but that doesn't mean that he can't slide out, in a hybrid role, or be on the inside of the, the tackle, inside shoulder of the tackle. It's still considered, an edge position, like in a 3-4 or whatever, but, he can kick out. He can get on the outside shoulder without a problem. He's got super good bend. I was watching him rip through those bags at the combine, man, and he didn't lose his footing once. Everybody else did.
Yeah, he gonna be a little bit quicker too. Just like if we get a safety in the draft, I want the safety to be able to play corner like Mike. I think Mikey Sandstrel, I think he can play both positions. Because I've heard they was looking at a safety in the draft too.
Yeah, the only problem with Sandstrel is his size. So he's 5'9", 182. So he's a little bit small. I wouldn't put him back in safety unless you're, north of 200 pounds. I think he would be a little small, but Sandstrel's been working up the board from what I'm hearing in the last couple of weeks. He's gone, from middle of the second round, closer to the first round. I'm not thinking he's going to crack the first round, but he's moving up. Easy Does It brings up Cooper DeJean, or like I like to call him, Grey Poupon. So Cooper, man, look, this guy projects as a safety all day. I think that Cooper's a guy that we could see that could play both ways, cornerback and safety. And I would like to see a Cooper, have a potential at 29. I don't think I'm doing it, but at, 45, I would do it in a heartbeat if the Lions can move back up. So before you get off, Donovan, tell me this. What is the number one move you want Brad Holmes to do to start this draft? What would be your wish list, whether it's drafting a player or moving up or moving back? What would you rather see him do?
We got to get a number one corner, our number one corner, like Kool-Aid, CJ Tampa, guys like that.
Okay. Now, do you think that we stay at 29 or do you think we move up or move back and still make that happen?
I definitely think we could trade back and get Tampa.
Yeah, I think you could trade back too and still get Tampa. It just depends on how far you're talking, but I see for me, look, my wish list right now is it's twofold. I am 1,000% okay giving up a second round pick next year and a third round pick in 26 and moving up into, the top 15 of this draft. I'm all good with it. Like, I'd rather see him give up, future draft picks and a pick swap in the first round and just go get an absolute dog, like absolute dog. If he's not willing to do that, there is no reason to stay at pick 29 because there's going to be, unless the draft gets all funky and your players end up landing to you, it doesn't make sense to stay at 29 because there's going to be somebody that wants to get in to that first round to grab a quarterback so they can get the fifth year option. That's where I'm thinking that Brad needs to make the call and get out of that first round, which sucks for us because we'll be at the draft. We won't have any draft picks taken on the first day, but I think it helps the team. It helps the team overall. What's up, Davenport's Dong? You got Bulge Army, man. You guys are on it.
But if we get an air, you go.
So yeah, Donovan, tell me, how did all this start? Like, you guys got to tell me the story. How did the bulge start and the dong start and what else do we got going on?
It's just Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes bulge. He started it. It's just a court where we just support each other and troll stuff like that.
And I assume you guys are all following each other on Twitter and all that good jazz. So I'll definitely check you guys all out. It's funny, man. It's absolutely funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool, man. Donovan, appreciate you calling in tonight. And we'll be ready and raring to go on Sunday. We got another show on Sunday. So we'll talk to you then.
Peace.
See you, man. All right. We got Donovan, Amos, and Latasha. Man, you guys are blowing up the coffees. Here we go. We got Latasha C. Bought some coffee, says listening to you all the time, driving to and from work. Really appreciate that, Latasha. And we got Mike Valenti's bulge. Man, you guys are bulged out, apparently. Mike Valenti's bulge bought a coffee. Says, catch me on 97.1 The Bulge, weekdays from 2 to 6. Oh, it's great. It's great. Too funny. Absolutely too funny. Yeah. Do we have a battle of the bulge? There we go. We don't have one of those locked down yet. All right. Adam says Brad's definition of all in could be in the draft. I'm ready. So I guess that'll be my next question. Just like I was saying, or asking Donovan, what is your number one goal to start this draft? That's what I want to know. What is your number one goal? Do you want Brad Holmes to move up, go all in and find a dog in the top 15? I don't think he'll get all the way up into the top 10. I don't think anyone's the Bears won't trade with us for sure. I think it would be hard pressed to get the Vikings to trade with us. So I think we're out there. So that's why I think top 15 is about where we're at. If he does move up, it could be 12. So is it move up, top 12, top 15, or is it move back, add some more picks? Because my dream scenario would be this. If you can move up, do it. Get your dog, get your second and third guy, get out of the draft. You get, 2 to 3 playmakers. That's all this team really needs right now this year, and get ready for next year's draft, but then just go crush it this season. If we can do that, I'm good. If we can't do that and the draft doesn't work in our favor, then it makes more sense to back up and add a pick somewhere between 35 and like 45, 48. You could still grab a Darius Robinson. You could still probably grab a Chop potentially. You could definitely grab a Marshawn Nealon. You could grab a top safety like a TJ Tampa or Renardo Green or Rakestraw. I mean, he's pretty decent. You could get a Cion Vaki. There's plenty of options. You could get Brendan Rice, Xavier Legette, Quantez, Stiggers way late. McLaughlin probably late third, early fourth. Kamal Hayden somewhere in the fifth, maybe the fourth. We don't have a fourth yet. So there's options is what I'm saying. There's a ton of really good players that just aren't as well known. So that's why moving back and maybe stacking a couple of picks, if we can't get the guy that we want or the guy that Brad wants, then it almost makes sense to just add draft capital and do the best you can. I mean, that's all you can do anyway. I think that's where you'd probably see another, early receiver go, is if, the right guy's just not there. Let's go Lions experience. There we go. Brendan Rice. Yeah, if you guys haven't had an opportunity to check out the Rise and Grind morning show, Eric Rintamaki joined me the other morning. He started a Let's Go Lions experience page on YouTube. He's just getting started. So check it out. But he's going to be joining me on some nights here on Rock Down Detroit Lions. We also have Tony, who's going to be joining us, former and current coach. Going to be bringing some big time takes to this channel. We're going to be doing a lot of different things. And we might have a major headliner. We might be bringing in a guy that knows a few things about playing football. I won't say where or for who or for when, but somebody that could really reset the stage for Rock Down Detroit Lions and help us earn some more credibility by having somebody that could tell us all the ins and outs of playing pro football. My thoughts on Frazier are simple. I like him. I do like him. I think that we're probably out on, the Jackson Powers Johnson lottery, but I do believe the Lions do need to do something, whether it's now or in the future. If you can grab a guard center, great. But like I said the other day, I'll explain it again for some of you guys that weren't in here. Before we started bringing in free agents, I'm like, okay, we've got to get a guard center. Have to. It's a must. We need someone that can back up Ragnow, and obviously we needed a left and a right guard at the time. Our bookends are good, but Taylor Decker's only here for another season potentially, depending on what happens. So with all that in mind, we added Graham Glasgow. So I'm like, perfect. Now we have a right or a left guard and a center if we need them. So we're good. Our center spot is solid now for the next 3 seasons. No matter what happens with Ragnow, we have a center that can fill in. And he's pretty darn good. Glasgow is pretty darn good at center. So that made me think, all right, we're about to re-sign or, extend Penei Sewell. So that means we have an option of a right tackle or a left tackle. So does it make more sense to grab a right tackle right now, even though we don't need one, and then you can put him at right guard or left guard if you ever needed to, and he can fill in at right tackle. Should something happen to Taylor Decker, Penei slides to the left. That new tackle you just got in the first or second round slides right in. So I do like Frazier. I just think that taking a right tackle that can project playing guard early in his career would make probably the most sense to me. We'll see what Brad thinks, but I think that makes the most sense. Offensive line is definitely crucial, J Mommy. The more they can play multiple positions, the best is the best option. Absolutely. Adam says the first rounder needs to be a guy who can start this year. Second or third can go to the O-line. Brent says Brad could easily get an O-lineman with pick 29. Yeah, we could. It'd have to be somebody extremely good, though. I mean, I'm not afraid of grabbing a Graham Barton or a Tyler Guyton. I'd have to go back and look at all their arm lengths again, but I wouldn't be grabbing a first round offensive lineman unless their measurables were perfect. They've got to have at least 33.5-inch arms as a guard and 34-inch arms or bigger as a tackle to be perfect. Now, if you're a quarter to a half inch off, probably not going to hurt you. It just depends on, how tall you are and what your wingspan is. Sometimes your wingspan is a lot longer than your body, and that's okay too. That means that you can get out away and, keep the guys away from you. Easy Does It says Lions second round picks last year all started. Yeah, that was the first time ever. That was the first time we had second round picks actually do something. Like we needed that. We needed that last year because we were starting to question, if Brad Holmes was taking a nap in the second round. Adam, what are your honest thoughts on Decker? You feel like he's a weak link and that he's got to go. NFC North pass rushers make him look like a fool. I don't know if I'd go that deep. I mean, I think Taylor's pretty solid. If anyone had a tougher time on the offensive line last year, it was probably Decker. But see, now we don't have Danielle Hunter to go up against. So that was a big time help. Not having to deal with Danielle Hunter anymore. He would go everywhere. Hold on, one sec. Give me 1 second. But as far as Taylor Decker's performance, yeah, last year might not have been his best, but I mean, look at what he went up against too. I mean, he went up against probably some of the most premier defensive lines that he's ever faced. I mean, Bosa and Mack and Crosby. Who else was on with Crosby? I can't remember. The Packers defensive line is really good. 49ers defensive line is really good. I mean, the Chargers, we went up against a lot of really good defensive lines. And I think he held his own pretty well last year. The best of, what he could do. Especially, you're playing musical chairs on the offensive line last year too. I mean, you had Glasgow moving everywhere. Excuse me. And then you had Coyote Awosika in there for a little bit. Kobe Sorsdal in there for a little bit. Vaitai started the year. It was a nightmare. And then you had Glasgow at center for like 2 games. So yeah, you didn't know if what's his name, Jonah Jackson, was ever going to play or when he was going to play. So I think we dealt with a lot, and those guys dealt with a lot, and I think he did pretty good for what he had to deal with. Does that make sense? The bad thing is he's on the tail end of his career. I think when you look at but when you look at the the likelihood that he comes back after this next year, I think it's still pretty good. I don't think that he wants to play for another team. And now all those guys have kids together around the same ages. And I think that starts to change you as a man. I don't know how many of you guys have kids, but it would probably start to change me too. You start to focus more on being a father, and you've already got all the money in the world. How much more are you really going to play? Does he really need to play, another 3-4 seasons? Probably not. So, yeah, I think that, it would be wise to have a backup plan, which is Penei Sewell. I think that's your backup plan for Decker. That's why I think taking a right tackle really makes the biggest sense. Forgot all about this poll. Let me end it here. So if the Lions played today, is the defense top 15 or 19? And you guys selected 15. 57 votes. Pretty solid vote. Adam saw Gary and Sweat make him look really bad. That was, look, the Packers tore us up in that one game. Like, Decker looked terrible in that one game, but I'll give him one. I'll give him one bad game. We just can't have, Decker have a bad game and then, everybody else all have bad games on different games. Like, they need to have a collectively bad game as long as it's not our last game and be done with it and move forward. It's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think Jonah Jackson played in the NFC title game either. Let's see. What else we got in here for questions or statements? All right. So let me get to something that I want to finish with tonight, because obviously I need to get my Z's, man. I haven't slept, it seems like, in a while. Not by choice. You got a dog puking at 1:30 in the morning. You got to take care of her. All right. So I wanted to go back and look at something because we're getting some questions about, Jared Goff and, whether you like Jared Goff or you don't, whether you need a dual threat quarterback or, do you really need a dual threat quarterback? And I see a lot of things from fans where they say, that we can't win with Goff. We can't win without him. Right. But it's the whole can't win with Goff. And I think he's done nothing but win the last 2 seasons. He's played excellent. 2 elite seasons, 2 of his best seasons of his entire career. Matter of fact, his Super Bowl run with the Rams might be his best season, or it might be his second best season. But you put those 3 seasons together, incredible, right? I agree. He's a top 10 on a bad day. He's a top 5 all day. And in my opinion, I think that the way this league has developed, there was a time where their dual threat quarterbacks were the thing. Like, they were it. Everyone had to have one. And it kind of, the rug kind of wore a little thin after maybe 10 seasons. Why? Guys were injured all the time. They weren't playing. Do you take a rookie? It's going to be 2.5 to 3 seasons before that rookie does anything. We've done the math here on this channel. We've talked about it at length. There's only been, 4 quarterbacks since 2016 that have ever done anything, either in their true rookie year or, what would have been their rookie year. And Jared Goff's one of them. Patrick Mahomes is another. Lamar Jackson went to the playoffs his first season. And Joe Burrow was the only other one that had a pretty decent playoff record. So it literally takes 2.5 to 3 seasons to make, and then CJ Stroud last year. It takes 2.5 to 3 seasons to do anything with a rookie. So it doesn't make sense to ever bring in a rookie and expect to win. That would be the exception, not the rule. And when I mean exception, good luck for the next 2 to 3 seasons while you're developing. What happens over those 2 to 3 seasons? Well, all the guys that you just brought in and re-signed and extended to win now, well, now they're gone, or they're starting to filter out, and the team is starting to get thin again. And before you know it, you're rebuilding all over again. And that's exactly what we don't want to see happen. So I went back and looked at the quarterbacks of the last 30 Super Bowls. Okay. And I'll tell you this. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, who back in Super Bowl 54, you could definitely say back then he was probably more of a dual threat quarterback. But I think that there's a big difference between a dual threat like Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, someone that wants to run first, or run more often than pass. That's not Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is not a true pocket passer. He's kind of like a newer style of quarterback, in my opinion. He's not really a dual threat. He's a mobile quarterback. He's not a pocket passer. He's something different. He'll evade, he'll move around, he'll bounce around and do what he has to do to get the ball out. A true pocket passer that has a good offensive line will win more games than that guy, hands down. Because then you're expecting the wide receivers to be somewhere on time or to work back to the quarterback, somebody to get open, whatever the case may be. So you got Patrick Mahomes, who won the last 2 Super Bowls. Stafford wasn't a dual threat. And then you had Tom Brady. He, I think, had 59 yards per year on the ground. Definitely not a dual threat, pure pocket passer. Then you had Patrick Mahomes when he was young and definitely more of a dual threat. Then you had Tom Brady again. Then Nick Foles. Then Tom Brady. Then Peyton Manning. Then Tom Brady. You had to go all the way back to Super Bowl 48 to get to Russell Wilson, who was a dual threat quarterback back then. Hey, this is Will with Rock Down Detroit Lions. I'll bring you in just a second, okay? Are you there?
Hey, what's up?
I don't know what happened there. So you had to go back to Super Bowl 48 to get to Russell Wilson. And then you had Joe Flacco, Eli Manning. Could you call Aaron Rodgers a dual threat quarterback back then in Super Bowl 45? I don't think so. He was a mobile quarterback, absolutely, but I don't think that he was a dual threat. And then you've got Drew Brees. Was he a dual threat? Nah, he's more mobile. Definitely not a dual threat, but he was more mobile. And then you go Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Brad Johnson, Tom Brady, Trent Dilfer, Kurt Warner, John Elway, Brett Favre. So back to Super Bowl 31, you could honestly say you had 2 dual threat quarterbacks win a Super Bowl. 2. And that would be Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowl 54 and Russell Wilson in 48. All right. So the point that I'm trying to make here is when all of these fans are, looking for a reason to throw shade on Goff or, say you can't win with him, you can't win without him, he's not going to take you the distance. In my opinion, Goff is probably the absolute best quarterback that you can have right now. If you look around the league, there is not, 5 or 6 quarterbacks that are, really better than him that are even available. I don't know of anyone that's available that's better than him. And I don't know anyone that you could trade for that would be better than him. So I would be very careful, when some of these fans say, well, we can't pay him $50 million. There's no way. We'll never win anything. It can be done. All of these teams have done it. And when you look at these rosters, they weren't as good as what we have now in Detroit. And they were all pocket passers for the majority. 98% of them pocket passers. That's what wins Super Bowls. Don't rock the boat. Got to keep Goff, back in the saddle doing his thing. But let me bring this caller in. All right. So, caller, I forgot your name already. What was your name, James?
Yes, sir.
James, welcome into Rock Down Detroit Lions. Thanks for calling, man. What's on your mind tonight?
You're welcome. We talking about Jared Goff. I'm completely sold on him. Like, I'm good with him as my quarterback. But that being said, I would trade him in one circumstance, and I don't believe it would ever happen. But there's only one circumstance I would trade him, and that's if we could get the DN from the Raiders, which, like I said, not going to happen. That's the only person I'd give up for a Goff.
Say that last part again. Who would you trade for Goff?
The DN for Crosby. Max Crosby.
Oh, you would trade him to bring in Max Crosby.
Yes, that would be the only person I would give Goff up for. I would take a chance on Hooker to get Max Crosby.
Yeah, I see. I don't. I
am completely sold.
Yeah, I don't see. Here's the thing about Hooker, and then I'm pretty hard lined on this one. Hooker has never taken a snap in the NFL. He has never played a game in the NFL, and he hasn't.
I agree with that.
Yeah, he hasn't played a game in over 18 months. We don't have a clue what he has yet, and to the point that I made before you came on. All rookies, literally every rookie taken in the first round, not even talking third round or second round, just first round since 2016. There's only been 4 that have gone to the playoffs or won a Super Bowl or gone to the playoffs in their first year. 4. And that's like out of 35 or 36 quarterbacks since 2016. So 7 seasons. And now
I honestly, personally think it would hurt us for a year. I really, truly believe it would hurt us for it. But that's the only way I'm giving up Goff. Like, there's so many Lions fans that are constantly talking about giving Goff up for really nothing. There is absolutely no way I would. The only way I would do it, for me personally, is a top 5 D end in the game.
Yeah, here's the thing that, what you'll get from me too is when I look at the business side of it. So if I were sitting in the, big old GM chair and I'm like, all right, Goff is playing lights out for 2 seasons. He's worth a ton on the market right now. If someone offered you
I think you would get there first.
If someone offered you 2 firsts and a third, what they offered for, the Stafford trade, would you do it? Well, then it kind of makes sense because then you can grab a quarterback. You could probably win with a better defense and limp with a quarterback because of the other weapons that you have around them. You could probably limp your way into the playoffs, for the next 2 seasons, and then your rookie quarterback finally takes off. But then you're talking about maybe a Super Bowl in 5 years, whereas you keep Goff right now, you've got a Super Bowl potentially in 24 or 25.
Right. And I think, like they're talking about it now too, I think if we were to do the trade, I think we could possibly get the Raiders first this year, Crosby, and give up Goff. I think we could get Raiders first this year as well.
Yeah, it potentially. I don't know. I mean, they would have to give up this year's first to do a trade like that. But I got to be honest, with everything the way that this offense is being built, and just knowing how the game of the football usually rolls downhill, not up, it's going to be extremely easy to get bad at quarterback. It's very, 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 very difficult to get good at quarterback. That's why you can't mess with the timing with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's never caught a pass from Hooker. You can't mess with the timing of Laporta. You can just take those guys and scratch them right off the list of having 1,000-yard seasons or 750 yards for Laporta, because it won't happen. It won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You can forget it. The whole offense will tank. And it might not come back, because I don't think you would invest $25 million a year in St. Brown, $25 million a year in Sewell, if you don't have a quarterback that's doing what he's doing right now. Because if he's not doing that, then you don't invest and you move on from all of those guys and you get more guys in the draft. But you have a quarterback that's doing it. I feel like you have to keep it going until it doesn't.
in the reality of it, I'm completely with you. I like Goff. I was just saying, because everybody's always talking about trade him. We need Hooker. We need somebody else. I was just saying, in a situation, that would be the absolute only way I would take him.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we need to get rid of him.
Oh, I agree. No, I mean, I think that it's always fun to have.
He's working for us.
Yeah, it's always fun to have these conversations of the what ifs and, you know, the things that probably won't ever happen. But, you know, it's interesting, you know, the dynamic of the conversation, you know, well, we need to trade Goff because of the salary. So let's have an intelligent conversation about Goff's salary. So the difference between what he made last year or even this year, let's just call it 32 million for easy numbers, and the difference of the cap that just went up 30 million. So the difference of what you're going to pay him, potentially 50 million, and what he made this year or last year, 32 million, is 18 million. So the cap just covered his salary and left you with enough money to sign your complete rookie class. So you're really not paying anything for Goff, but when you do extend him, you're going to get a ton of money back in that first year if they don't pay him all of his money up front, which they probably wouldn't. So his cap hit will go from 32 million to probably down to 20 million in 2024 if they get it done this year. So that's another 10 million you're going to add to the cap, and Goff is paid, and you've got Sewell and Amon-Ra extended within those numbers, and you still have about $30 million in cap in 2024. So the money doesn't hurt us.
Yeah, I think we're fine.
The money doesn't hurt us.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah. Money.
J-Rod, I agree with you 150%. I would get JJ in a heartbeat. He is the youngest quarterback in the draft. He's 23 years old. If you give Goff a 4-year contract extension, that means JJ would be 27 years old at max when Goff was done with his 4-year extension, and then JJ would be, I think, amazing.
Yeah, I think that JJ might potentially get a shot to start, and I think that's going to be.
So do I.
I think he'll get a shot to start early. So the Raiders picking at 13, right? So yeah. So hypothetically, Crosby pick 13 for Goff, and you're going to need a new quarterback. So are you going to be able to get a quarterback? Are you going to be able to, because it ain't going to be Hooker. I guarantee it. There ain't no way they're going to roll with Hooker, you know, with him not, I mean, he could come in and play lights out, but you got to remember, coming off an ACL, this will be his first off season off of his ACL. And it took JMO 2 seasons to really get his feet back. He didn't get comfortable until the last 6 or 7 games last year. And I think you're going to see that with Hendon too, that it's going to take him a minute to get his feet back underneath him. He won't be as mobile as he used to be. And he may not feel as comfortable as he used to feel. So I think you'd have to get a quarterback. Who are you going to get at 13? I mean, you could potentially move all the way up, but who are you going to get at 13? JJ McCarthy.
There will be no quarterbacks left at 13.
There might not be.
Absolutely have to move up.
Yeah, you'd have to get ahead of Minnesota.
Yep. And Minnesota's what, 11?
Minnesota's 11, and Chicago's not going to trade with you. So, you'd either have to trade with, you'd have to trade with Atlanta, Tennessee, or New York. The Chargers might trade with you because they need more picks. And we know that Jim Harbaugh, he's all about building the trenches. So I could see him wanting to stack some picks, but he's going to have to sell his GM on doing it.
I was talking about, when I was talking to J-Rod, I was talking if we didn't trade Goff. Like if we just some reason were able to get JJ behind Goff, I think that would be the perfect situation, because then you could sit them, let them mature, let them grow, let them see the NFL game. And then by the time Goff's extension's up, then you let Goff go and you put JJ in.
Yeah, but see, I think the issue there though is Goff's extension is going to be
won't be available in the first.
Well, no, it's not so much that. It's Goff's extension is going to be no less than 3 seasons. It's going to, I have a high, I really think it's going to match Brad and Dan's contracts. They're signed through 27. They're going to keep their quarterback through 27, and they're going all in.
Yeah, I think they'll give them 4 years.
I think it'll be 3-year extension, which will get him through 2027.
3 year?
Yeah, 3 year will get him through 2027.
Okay.
So then if you do that and you grab JJ this year in the first round, then you would have his 4th season that he could potentially start, and you'd have to pick up either his 5th-year option or extend him right away, just like they did with Love, to somebody's point in the chat, where you'd have to give him a short, cheap extension to keep him around for a couple more seasons to see what he has.
Yep.
But quite honestly, though, you'd still have to get up to get JJ. You'd have to get ahead of Minnesota, no matter what. And I don't know that, you'd want to spend all of your cap or all of your draft cap on moving up to grab a quarterback in the first round. The Detroit fan base would melt down completely.
The only way I would take JJ if we kept Goff, the only way I would take him is if for some reason he slid to 29. And I don't think he will. I believe he will not last to 29 for a second. If I were the Lions and I were trading up, I would personally trade up for a cornerback. I know you guys, a lot of people, and you yourself, are more on the D end in Verse or in Dallas Turner. If you were to move up, me personally, if I were to move up, I would go after, in my opinion, I think the 2 best corners is, I would either go after Wiggins or I would be going after Quinnen.
So it depends on who's there. If I were to move up so my trade partner right now is Denver. So if I were to move up, if I were to move up to 12, if Terrion Arnold or Quinnen Mitchell were available, I definitely would give them a hard look. But I don't think you can pass on Jared Verse when there's really nothing like him left in the draft. The only other guy that I really love, outside of the first round that I think you could get at pick 61 is Rookie Ororo. And Rookie is an inside-outside defensive tackle, Rookie. Defensive end. He's raw. He reminds me of Ezekiel Anza and in what Ezekiel did. So old Ziggy. Yep. I think that Rookie could be a star. He could be a star in this league with the right coaching. And we have the best defensive, line coach right now. I think that would be a smart pick, that if you do not take an edge early, you pick up Rookie later, I think you're good. Even Marshawn Nealon later, or Darius Robinson, if he slips, picking him up later.
Adam, who haven't you heard of?
If you haven't,
or who he's talking about, Ororo.
Yeah, if you haven't heard of Rookie, I did a video on him.
Rookie is an animal.
Yeah, the guy, he played for Clemson. Here, I'll post it in the chat. Yeah, you'll love this little video on him.
Yeah, I like Oroku too. I mean, not Oroku, Ororo. Yeah, I'm like you. I can never remember how to say his name.
Yeah, well, they said it so many different ways. Ororo or Auroro, or it's the R's and the O's that get me.
Yeah, it's a crazy name. He's really good at. I mean, he looks like he's got a potential to be really good at them. He's just extremely raw. He'll need work.
Yeah, but the good thing is he's got, plenty of guys right now on this defense that he can work behind, and we wouldn't have to really worry about it.
Absolutely.
So hey, James, I'm past.
The only reason why.
Oh, go ahead.
The only reason why I'm bigger on cornerback than DN, like most people, is I think it's harder to find a cornerback. Like if you look in the NFL, it is hands down harder to find number one solidified corner than it is to find a number one DN. If you look at our DNs in the NFL, there's a shitload of them. Max, Hutch, Burns, The Rams, they got 2. Bosa, Joey Bosa, TJ Watts. There's a shitload of top tier DNs. Now, if you look in reverse at cornerback, you can probably name 5. Sauce Gardner, Sauce, the dude from the Surtain,
Patrick Surtain, yeah.
I'm big on Patrick Surtain. I'm big on Carl Davis. I agree with you. His injuries are a problem. Hopefully he can stay healthy. If he is, I say he's a top tier. But, it's hard to come across 5 to 7 top tier cornerbacks. It's easy to come across 5 to 7 top tier DNs.
Yeah, the thing with DNs though, the things with DNs though is there's really not that many top tier at the position when you look at how many there are in the NFL, because for defensive end, you only got 2 per team. And for corners, you can have up to 5, on the field at one point. So there is way more corners out there than there are defensive ends. So they're a lot slimmer to find.
And less top tier ones.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's my thing. There's more out there and they're less defined.
Yeah, there's probably 20 elite defensive ends in the league right now. But what we're up against is that whole COVID year really screwed everybody for the draft this year. Even last year was like the best year for defensive ends and defensive tackles. That 2023 draft class is going to reset the market in 2 or 3 more seasons for defensive end, with all the players that came out, and defensive tackle and the guys that moved around at linebacker, because some of the guys that you named, they're not just pure defensive ends. They're also outside linebackers. And in the NFL right now,
true. Absolutely.
Yeah. And in the NFL right now, you've got Sauce Gardner, Jalen Johnson, Kendall Fuller, Derek Stingley, Rasul Douglas, Charvarius Ward, hell, even Brian Branch is up in the top now. Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, Roger McCreary.
Yeah, I guess I was. You're using nickels and stuff too. I guess I need to realign this. I would say it's hard to find top tier outside corners.
Oh yeah, top tier outside corners are
1.
Yeah, if there's 10 in the league, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, and that's what I meant, outside corners.
Yeah.
And that's why I said Queenan and Nate's who I would go after. If we were to move up to the 10-12 range, I would personally have a harder look at the cornerbacks first, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Hey, I'm past the 10 o'clock hour. James, I appreciate you calling in. We'll be back live on Sunday.
Yes,
don't forget to join us. As always, man, appreciate you.
I always join you.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it, James. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir.
All right, man. Go Lions. All right. So we are past the 10 o'clock hour. Look, I can't thank everybody enough for tonight. It was going to be a light night, and somebody organized this Bulge Army to come in and infiltrate my fences, broke down my armor, and you guys were great. You guys were absolutely awesome, respectful. Appreciate it. Someone mentioned something about other creators. I don't know what's going on out there. I haven't had time to pay attention. But for this channel, and for what I do, everybody gets a shot until they shoot themselves in the foot here. It's like everyone here has always been great for the most part. You sometimes you get your trolls, and we do our best to get them out quickly. But here, man, everyone is always pretty good about being on their P's and Q's. And the one thing that I always say is it's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to, drive your points across. There's just a difference when you cross the line and you're disrespectful. And for the most part, nobody in this group does that. And I also got to give a big shout out and a thanks to the moderators. I know they're not in tonight, but Better the Hunt and Tracy always do a great job at helping moderate things. But for the most part, there's not much to mod. Everyone seems to be pretty well behaved, and I certainly appreciate it. Sponsors appreciate it because their names are out there. And before I forget, if you guys haven't checked out sportspider.com, please do give them a check out, sportspider.com. Link is in the description. I'll also throw it in the chat here. You guys got to check them out and build your network of sports information off of their website. They do an excellent job. Those brothers over there that created that site really knew what to do, and it's always evolving. So, I'm sorry, Tracy, not feeling well. Hope you feel better, Trace. Trust me, I feel it. After the cancer and being on all the meds, man, it's tough. You guys don't see that from me. I still show up, but there's some days it's really hard. So, I hope you feel better, Trace. Please take care of you first and always, though. Always you first and always. All right, y'all. You guys have been great. Appreciate you joining Rock Down Detroit Lions. Don't forget about the giveaway. Again, huge shout out. You guys blew up the coffees tonight. Like, I've never had that many donations fly in for coffee ever. So I'll get to working on the Excel spreadsheet, get you guys all entered up for the jersey giveaway, which is free to enter. I did post a video on it, so if you need to know all the rules and the ins and outs to it, it's up there. That's the only reason why it was posted without monetization, because I thought it was ridiculous that I even had to do it, but I did it. So appreciate you guys. You guys all have a great night. And Tracy, get some sleep, feel better. Everyone else, Bulge Army, thank you for being gracious tonight and joining Rock Down Detroit Lions. To all the other subscribers, you guys are all the best. I promise you, you are the best and most well-loved supporters that there are. So appreciate you guys joining Rock Down Detroit Lions tonight. Have a good night.